Welcome back. Yeah, you're right. Yes, it's cold, but it's not too bad because the wind is not high and it's just above freezing. It is Monday, just after 3 p.m. Almost the same session as before this, but not in the middle of the night with high wind approaching. Same bit of water. Here's the water. Looks like someone might be on the bridge over there fishing. I know I didn't let you look at the water for too long, but trust me, there appears to be nothing going on. I've got all kinds of different rods, but only one of them is dedicated to bass, or that's how it's going to appear, right? I got all these different little baits that are more appropriate for perch, for panfish. Really want to try artificials, but that's kind of where I was the other night, and it didn't go. Nothing went well, even when I did go to the worm. But we're going to start off with this little dock shooter under the cork with a bit of red worm. At this spot, not just like where we're at, but this portion of the bayou, the water appears to be dirty. Of course it's dirty here. Sometimes this water can be dirty and that water is not. Both of them are equal to each other at the moment. As we move down the bayou, we might find it to be different. It might be better. It might be less dirty further down. But I'm starting here because look, I'm surrounded by concrete. The water is surrounded, and this concrete can hold a temperature, and it is, I think, 8 feet. Don't hold me to that, but I've always heard that you need at least 8 feet of water for fish to survive a freeze. You might need more, might be less, but there are a lot of places down here in southeast Louisiana where the bayou is mostly, on average, less than 8 feet deep, maybe 3, maybe 4 feet, but with holes that might be 8 feet or more. So will the fish stack up in these deeper holes? We'll see. We're going to go to a few. We've got some deep holes in front of us on this stretch, 10 and 12 and 8 for sure. But of course, we're not in Wisconsin, so these fish don't see these water temperatures often, or these air temperatures as well, right? So a bit of a shock. This is kind of a record cold snap. I think it is a record cold snap. Tomorrow might break more records. We did go below freezing last night when I woke up yesterday, Sunday. There was like absolutely no water pressure, and I was like, what is going on? It didn't get that cold. Well, someone on Highway 23 hit a fire hydrant and a pole. I don't know how they fared in that accident, but yeah, the fire hydrant getting decimated is what caused the water pressure to drop. Some of you already know that because you're like right here. However, a lot of you didn't. But yeah, there's water pressure today. There were cold temperatures just below, like maybe it got down to 29 last night, but the field temp with the wind, because the wind was high last night, was around 24, 25 degrees. As the sun goes down today, we will see the temperatures dropping below freezing, and tomorrow, Tuesday, is when the snow is supposed to happen, and I think I will see snow here. I will get out during that. Right now they're saying that I've got 96% chance of seeing snow tomorrow in my area, in my town, so we'll see. Oh, I hope we get a bite. I hope we get a fish, because I'm not ranting about TikTok again. But I think I was correct. I'm pretty sure I was correct. That was a stunt. The government, our government, didn't pull TikTok. TikTok chose to go dark. It was just a stunt. As I thought, this spot's not worth much. let's go to one that is. Here we are. Here we have arrived to some questions I and some other people have. I've been asked already today, do I expect a fish kill this time? It's happened before down here when we have a really bad winter storm that breaks records, brings our temps way down. It's very possible that fish kills will happen, but they're going to happen in bits of water that fish were not successful at escaping, right? It was too shallow and they froze to death. We don't have 8 feet in front of us, but what we do have is a spot where a ditch, it's a pretty long ditch, drains into, this is where it dumps into the bayou, right? My question that I'm asking myself, why I chose to come to this spot, I really should have came here first, but I wanted to stop at that pumping station. The question is, are there a bunch of fish just racing out of here, like making their way out of here to find deeper water, to find better water temps? In front of us where this dumps out at, that is 10 feet or a little better. This is a nice hole right here. Some people say it's at the bridge, but it's technically not. That's not 10 feet at the bridge, but it drops to about 10 feet coming away from the bridge. It's pretty much right here. You have this ditch and then that ditch across the way that's coming from culverts that are coming from a pond that's on the other side of the road, right? And that pond is super shallow. We'll probably see a fish kill over there because those culverts are clogged up and not all fish are going to be able to get through to seek warmer water temps. So yeah, definitely probably see fish dead over there when it's all said and done. And I'm not getting a bite here. Gotta keep going, gotta keep going. This is the pond that I was talking about. This is where we're probably going to see, or a spot like this would be where we would see a fish kill, because it's shallow. It has so many shallow spots. There's nowhere in that pond that's deeper than 8 feet to my knowledge. But as you can see, it's like 90% choked with water hyacinth. And it's all dying. You see all that hyacinth is brown. It looks dead on top, but it might not be technically dead. That's a good thing, because that's a invasive species. That plant is invasive, so if that dies out, it's good. It's not going to be gone. We're not getting rid of hyacinth in Louisiana with this storm. We would need like a whole winter's worth of below freezing temperatures to get rid of it, and some of it's still going to survive that, even that, but we would get rid of so much. And it's not really the best thing to have it all die, like that much in the pond die at once. It's going to change the biosphere of that pond. But yeah, what are you going to do? Whenever I'm coming down this road, day or night, and there's a vehicle parked where you see that in the distance, I'm always nervous, like, because they're not always fishing, and I don't know who it is, and they could be doing anything. If it's one thing, oh, I think I see someone on the bridge, so maybe it's okay. But sometimes it's just shenanigans, and they're not really a threat. But you're not gonna pull up right next to a vehicle where the two people are fooling around, are you? Unless you're just rude. So yeah, it is a dude fishing on the bridge. It's not people up to no good, or, well, it depends, right, in the car. So it's Steve. He's a subscriber, and look what he made for me. He just gave this to me. Look at all these jigs. Isn't that awesome? Got swim baits, curly tails, traditional jigging tubes, avocado chartreuse, all these different colors, different types of jig heads. Wow, that is cool. Thank you so much. Nice sticker. That is awesome. I wasn't expecting that. Up here on this bridge, I'm right over a spot where sac-a-lait usually hold, right over that pylon and that pylon, and you can see that this is a very, very snaggy spot. Right in front of us we have 10 to 12 feet of water. We have a good depth for this cold weather, but if we come to the other side over here, we don't have that depth. It shallows up. Could still find sac-a-lait over here moving around, but doubt we're going to find them holding. There's nothing down there to hold off of that I know of. There might be, but yeah, right here. So what I'm doing is, instead of going with a straight jig, and I'm not using his jigs quite yet because it's too cold to tie things up. I'm already tied up, so we're going to go with what I have. This is a triple tail, curly tail avocado chartreuse with a crappie bite on there, and we're going to do about 4.5 to 5 feet underneath the cork to start, but the straight jig might be what I have to go to. So these pylons that I'm fishing, they're going at an angle, right? They're not up and down, they're not vertical, so they're actually, like, if we put this right out in front of them, we're still basically right over where the pylon is. We don't have to be right here, right? I've been watching since I came up here, and I'm only on the bridge because Steve is up here. I got a subscriber already up here, so I'm up here. You see that wind is really hitting me. I'm exposed, but since I've been watching, I've been looking for signs of sac-a-lait there. About maybe 3 weeks or more, somewhere around there, maybe even a whole month ago, I saw them here feeding. I didn't do anything about it, but I did see them. Might have to go to the straight jig. Oh, the good thing is we didn't lose the cork. The bad thing is we lost the jig. That is a very snaggy spot, and I was not that deep in the water. Okay, let's try one of Homeboy's jigs. What do you think size-wise? Let's try tradition first. There's what I'm throwing from Steve. Traditional tubing jig, avocado chartreuse with a bite, and we're going to the straight jig to see if they're on the bottom. Probably going to snag because this is very snaggy, but I have fished it like this before and picked something up. The wind is horrendous. Oh, let's see that. It's a little one. We can barely, got enough light here. You guys see that? There's fish here. First little sac-a-lait coming out. He's actually lost one fish. I've had a few bumps. That's a little tiny guy, but they are here. They're not feeding super heavy though. Here, let's bring this over to the light so you guys can get a proper look at it. You're letting this go, right? Yeah. It's kind of... no, he's small. He's too small. Check him out. Fish is a fish. Was that a transformer blowing up? You think so? Sounded like one, didn't it? Hey, thanks for the jigs, Steve. That was pretty cool. I will see you later. It is freezing. Transformers sound like they're blowing up. Oof, it's already below freezing. Did you hear that? In the distance, it sounded like a transformer popping, blowing up. And then after that, there were more sounds like that, but the camera was off. It's just chilly. He lost a fish before I could get on the bike. So they're still hitting, but it's so slow, and I am too old to hang out for too much longer because of this wind, really. If it wasn't as windy, I would be hanging out, but yeah, it's not that crazy of a bite. Okay, I'm in my neighborhood, and the cool thing is the power's still on. So maybe that was not transformers blowing up. Sounded like it, but that is definitely a real life threat, right? Or a possibility, because this is not typical to have several days below freezing. So you get all these people turning on heaters, electric heaters at once, right? And it's a strain, and it can lead to transformers popping, and then you lose power. So many houses these days, their heat is all electric. Not all houses, but there's a lot of that, right? Especially rentals. Ooh, keys in the hole. No, upside down. There you go, there you go, there you go. Hey, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Yeah. I sent a text ahead to the dogs to put the kettle on, and just like every time, they never do it. They always text back, yeah, okay, we'll do it. We'll put the kettle on. I get home, and it's not on. And then they're like, we tried, but we don't have thumbs. I mean, what do you want us to do? Grow a pair. That's what I want you to do. Grow a pair. Well, I'm glad that I actually came out and stayed for the drop. For the drop? Yeah, you're right, because it dropped. That wind, really. When that wind kicked up, you could feel it. I had a few bites. He lost a couple of fish, caught one. Not a crazy bite, but yeah. A fish is a fish. Someone caught a fish in this video, is what I'm saying. And really cool of him to be just hanging out randomly with a box of jigs he made for me. Yeah, he's just been holding on to it. And what he told me afterwards is that he made a lot of the jig heads in that box. Not all of them, but he's been making his own jig heads. We will be fishing with Steve more in the future. Yeah, you're right. But until then, I want to warm up, because I left the house warm. I was like, I'm not coming home to a cold house. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to get warm. Hey, thanks for watching. Yeah, you're right. I'll see you next time.